How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I had to take the day off from uploading on the channel yesterday after that, quite frankly, embarrassing loss the other night that the Bulls had against the Heat. But I'm back, I'm in a better mood, and you know today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday I feature a series on your Bulls hot takes and would you rather scenarios, and do so because I don't like just hearing from myself all the time. I want to hear from you guys and what's on your minds, questions you have, takes you have. So in today's video, we're going to be featuring your would you rather scenarios. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to leave your would you rathers in the comments of this video or in any video for that matter, or you can also leave them in the Discord. The link to the Discord can be found in the description. So with that being said, let's get into these takes, shall we? So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Our first one comes to us from Ty Boogie. Would you rather pay Zach the Supermax or use his cap space to bring in another All-Star? Well, first of all, Zach, in order for him to actually qualify to be Supermax eligible, he would need to make an All-NBA team, which I can't say for a certainty that he's going to. Like, DeMar DeRozan will make an All-NBA team this season, no question. Zach, I think he still will. He'll likely be selected, but I wouldn't say that it's a for sure thing. But let's say that he does make an All-NBA selection and becomes eligible for the Supermax. Sign him or another All-Star. I mean, it all depends on who that other All-Star is. Like, if this is an All-Star like, say, Fred VanVleet, not that he's going to be a free agent, then no, I would much rather just keep Zach and sign him to a Supermax deal. But if it's an All-Star like Joel Embiid, again, also not a free agent, then yeah, I would much prefer to give that contract and cap space to Embiid over paying someone like Lavine the Supermax. Now, I'm likely going to have to make a separate video on this topic, and I've been meaning to make this video, but wanted to wait until we got closer to the end of the season on whether Zach LaVine is in fact worth a max contract or a supermax contract. I feel like 90 to 95% of Bulls fans at the beginning of the season were saying yes, 100% he deserves the max. To now, it's maybe more in the 75 to 80% range say that he should get the max. Like, I've seen the sentiment shift a bit more recently, and I think part of that is because Zach just hasn't looked 100% like himself, and that's probably because of his knee, but that's also obviously going to change the narrative on him. Either way, to answer this question, I mean, Zach is probably going to get the max contract that he's been looking for. Part of it is because the free agency class this summer isn't that great, and I can't see the Bulls moving on from him unless they're getting a crazy sort of value in exchange for him by way of a sign-and trade. You let Lavine walk and you get nothing in return. That is a step back for the franchise no matter how you look at it. Next, we've got, I guess this is Reflection, Dosunmu or Caruso. It's a good one. I mean, I say it's a good one, but at the same time, it's pretty easy for me. I would obviously take Ayo, and really it's because Ayo is younger, has more potential, higher ceiling. I love Caruso, and obviously I think he's a better player right now in terms of his experience and overall impact on the court, but Caruso is 28, and you kind of know what type of player he's going to be. It's not like this is going to be a player that has a higher ceiling or future untapped potential. Like, he's in his prime right now, whereas Ayo, who's only 22, has shown incredible maturity, poise, and potential for being a great two-way player in the league, being only in his rookie season. Like, yeah, I would take Ayo if I had to think about the future of this franchise. Next, we've got L Big Woo Wop 2324. Chicago Bulls Nate Robinson or Coby White? You know, I saw a lot of people responding to this one in the Discord saying that they would easily take Nate Robinson. And to me, I'm like, really? You would take Nate over Coby? And this is coming from myself, who generally has been a bigger critic of Coby White. And don't get me wrong, I loved Nate Robinson in those injured D Rose years where the Bulls outperformed and won a playoff series, and Nate Robinson balled out in that playoff series. But Nate Robinson, when on the Bulls, first of all, he's older when he was on the Bulls, was even worse of a defender than Coby White is. Coby White has actually been playing solid defense recently. Robinson was even worse in terms of his general decision-making and self-awareness. Like, Coby, for his flaws, is a better player than Nate Robinson was in his time with the Bulls. Like, I feel people have forgotten, you know, Nate's tenure as a whole with the Bulls and only remember that crazy playoff run that he had. There were also a lot of frustrating things that Nate Robinson did as a player. He played hard, though. I have to give him credit for that. But no, I would take Coby White. Next up, we've got Life. Would you rather see Zach working on his playmaking with Lonzo or his defense with Caruso next summer if he stays? I like that you said if he stays because, yes, it's still not a guarantee. But between those two, I mean, here's the thing about Zach. He is so gifted with his sheer athletic abilities and talent that if he really wanted to be an elite playmaker or defender, I genuinely believe that he could. I know some people would say that I'm crazy for saying that, especially on the defensive end, but it's true. Like, the guy is one of the most athletic players in the league. He has the footwork, quickness, and leaping ability to be a great defender, and we've seen him play good defense at times. And with his playmaking, last season especially, we've seen him be a very effective playmaker with his court vision when he wants to be. The problem is, how bad does Zach want to be that player? How much is he willing to sacrifice his offensive game for scoring or playmaking? Now, if I had to choose between the two, I would prefer that he work on his defensive game with Caruso versus, say, his playmaking with Lonzo, because Zach is already a decent enough of a playmaker that I'm not too worried about him needing to improve that more with everything else that he does. But if Zach were to become an elite defender, or even 80% of the defender Caruso is, you're talking about Lavine being a top 10 player in the league, a guy who can put up 50, 40, 90, averaging 25 points per game, and he can play lockdown defense both on and off the ball, which is important because Zach is actually decent on defense playing on the ball. It's off the ball where he struggles. And if Zach was able to add that kind of defense to his game, it would improve the Bulls immensely when you factor in their added need for defense on this team. And what better way than to learn from Alex Caruso, who's one of the more scrappy defenders in the game of basketball. Next, we've got Phoenix Airblade. Would you rather keep Lavine and Vucevic or have Prime D, Rose, and Noah? Now, normally, this would be one I would ignore and just move on to the next. And no disrespect to Phoenix Airblade because you leave a lot of good takes. But when I saw the amount of people commenting after this one, saying that Lavine and Vuce is who they would choose easily, that's not a question, I was like, okay, I need to include this one in the video because either I feel Bulls fans have just completely forgotten how insanely good prime Derrick Rose was. The dude was an MVP for crying out loud, and also how good Noah was alongside him. Either that or some people making these comments are just really young and didn't follow the Bulls during that time period. Like, no, easily Rose and Noah over Lavine and Vucevic. It's no question. Rose and Noah were such a dynamic duo with Noah's elite defense and dog-like mentality, and Rose with his incredible speed, athleticism, and scoring ability. Like, I just don't understand how it's even a question. If you said Lavine and DeMar, then maybe you would have made it a little bit closer, but even still, I'm going to take prime Rose and Noah. Next, we've got the Benny. Would you rather have Grayson Allen or Denzel Valentine on the Bulls? Oh my God, you baited me, man. You knew it. I love it, though. Pass. Can I pass? I mean, if I had to choose, I guess Grayson Allen because he can actually play basketball decently well, and like Valentine. But you know what? Actually, no, I can't. I can't stand Grayson Allen as much as I couldn't stand Denzel Valentine. I can't believe I would say this right now, but I would rather see Denzel Valentine in a Bulls uniform over Grayson Allen. You did it. You got me with the Valentine take in the would you rather scenario. Anyway, next we've got T-Mac. Would you rather have 1994 Hakeem, 2003 Duncan, or 2004 KG as our starting power forward? Well, Hakeem was a center. At least I don't think he ever played power forward in his career. Maybe a few games here and there, but he was a center. If Hakeem did play the four, I would hands down take Hakeem because he was amazing. But between 2003 Duncan and 2004 KG, I'd probably take Duncan just because Duncan is arguably a top 10 all-time great, whereas Kevin Garnett, as good as he was, I don't think he's on that level that Duncan was. That being said, though, we could really use someone like Kevin Garnett and his enforcer-like mentality on this team going against guys like Giannis and Embiid versus someone like Duncan, who is much more stoic. But still, I would prefer Duncan in this instance. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it there for this week. Thanks to all of those who left their Would You Rathers. Next week, I'll be featuring your Bulls hot takes, so make sure you submit your takes in the comments below or in the Discord. The Bulls will be taking on the Hawks tomorrow. I'll have a live chat for that game if you'd like to join. Until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.